What's up and welcome to KplusGaming Corner, and in this Outriders video I'm sharing my version of the Scorched Zealot Pyromancer. A lot of you have been asking about my Scorched Zealot build, so I figured the time has come for me to dust him off and start tossing those fireballs. This is a great way to run a firepower build with your Pyromancer, as the more firepower you have, the more weapon damage, the more powerful those fireballs will be. And there's a few different ways you could run this build, so there's a lot of flexibility here as well. Getting right into it and starting with the skills, we're going Feed the Flames, Volcanic Rounds, and Ash Blast. We're getting a really nice cooldown on our Ash Blast at 7.4 seconds, and Feed the Flames will be key here due to the Scorched Zealot set bonus, where now with our melee attack, we're able to shoot projectiles that inflict ash and deal a nice amount of damage. As I mentioned, that damage increases based on how much firepower you have, and then the Feed the Flames skill increases that damage by 25% per enemy hit up to 100%, so we're able to double that damage, which will also be multiplied and increased through other means, which we'll get to shortly. The weapon you use is really up to you, although due to some class tree nodes, I'd recommend an LMG or assault rifle or a double gun like this Amber Volt I'm using with Fortress in the APOC slot. Killing Spree helps increase our weapon damage as we're getting kills, and then I included Anomaly Enhancement, which is going to boost our weapon damage based on how much anomaly power we have. Dark Sacrifice would be another great option here if you're feeling frisky, although my personal preference would be to keep my health and not trade it in for weapon damage. If it was 75% like it used to be, now we're talking. You only need concern yourself with the primary weapon, since with Volcanic Rounds, we'll be able to keep that up and won't ever need to switch to our secondary. We're using the Scorched Zealot's Crown, although I'm still looking for a better one here, since this one came with Magma Shelter, which is fine, but it doesn't help as much as I'd like. I'd much prefer something like Anomaly Echo here, or maybe even Thunder's Legacy, so my search continues. Hopefully RNGesus smiles on me one day and grants my wish, but y'all know how this game is. I'm not holding my breath on that one at all. The headpiece comes standard with Ashen Bloom, which causes enemies hit with Feed the Flames to explode and spread some ash status effect around, doing a modest amount of damage, so it's useful enough. I included Death Sentence here, so enemies hit with our Ash Blast are taking on more weapon and anomaly damage. You pretty much always want to have Death Sentence on if you're using Ash Blast. We have the Scorched Zealot's Cuirass for the chest piece, this one dropping with Captain Hunter in the APOC slot, so we're getting our 16% increase in damage to elites, and this comes standard with Ashen Boost for a 12% increase in damage to enemies afflicted with Ash. And then I included Concussive Force here, so our melee damage, which includes those fireballs we're tossing around, are dealing 25% more damage and hitting a 50% bigger range, so this mod is key for this build. The Scorched Zealot's Waistcloth comes with Cauterizing Flames, so this gives us a mechanism for our Feed the Flames to ramp up our firepower up to 50%, where basically Feed the Flames is draining enemy health towards your healing. So with this mod, every percent overhealed is going into bonus firepower, like I said, up to 50% extra, and that extra firepower is in turn increasing our set bonus damage. These pants came with Flame Graspers, so our Feed the Flames can grab 2 extra targets, helping further boost the damage of our set bonus. And I included Brawl here, which now doubles the damage of our melee attack, so those projectiles we're shooting are doing some work. As usual, my gloves and boots are both epic purples. The gloves with bonus firepower as the main attribute, coming with bullet kindling in the APOC slot for an extra 12% damage increase on enemies burning. Martial arts, which is cutting our cooldown of our melee skill in half, so we can really spam those projectiles. And then I threw on bullet absorption here. That's how we're keeping our volcanic rounds up. So as long as there's enemies for your Feed the Flames to grab, you're never running out of ammo. The boots would have been perfect if these were also bonus firepower, but anomaly power will have to do for now until I get a better pair. These came with Wide Grip in the APOC slot for one more target our Feed the Flames can grab, so that plus Flame Grasper on the pants means our Feed the Flames can grab up to 4 targets per cast, so that's how we're getting to the maximum 100% increase to the damage our projectiles are going to be doing, as mentioned with the set bonus. These came with Empowerment, which causes our Ash Blast to do extra damage, and then Ash Increase Range, which increases the skill's range by 50%, so we're able to hit more enemies at a time, doing more damage to everyone. Empowerment here is optional. As I mentioned before, there's multiple ways you can run this build. It's very flexible. Lava shots would be another good option I've played around with, which increases firepower by 25% while your volcanic rounds is active. I'll explain more when I get to the pack tree when I switch to this way, but otherwise my preference is going with empowerment, chipping away at enemies on the battlefield. I feel it helps clear rooms faster, but that could be me. Feel free to let me know which one you might prefer. Moving to the class tree, we're staying up top, grabbing all the weapon damage nodes, and making sure we hit up Assault Master for an extra 20% assault weapon damage. We're also grabbing Ashes to Ashes, so enemies inflicted with Ash will also have the vulnerable status and taking more damage. And then we reach the end to Burning Station, so every time we Ash Blast and feed the flames, our weapon damage is also increasing by 45%. This buff will pretty much be up the whole time, which is again benefiting our set bonus. I came up and grabbed Leeching Force for some extra weapon leech and survivability, but this one's optional, so feel free to try out some other nodes that might work better for you. Switching to the Pax tree, we're also staying up top. The key Pax tree node we want here is Carbonization, where enemies hit with your immobilization skills receive 25% more anomaly damage, which is helping our Ashen Bloom and Empowerment mods deal more damage. Then we have Carbon Footprint, which states that for every enemy hit with an immobilization skill, we're knocking off the cooldown of the other immobilization skill by 1 second. This basically lets us spam our Ash Blast and feed the flames since we're constantly hitting enemies with each. As mentioned before, there's multiple ways you can set up your Scorched Zealot, as you could also decide to focus more on gun damage by grabbing Carbon Ammo, which triples our magazine size, giving you way more ammo than you'll ever need. And then Bullet Frenzy, where as long as you keep shooting, your weapon damage is increased by 3% and this buff keeps stacking until you stop shooting. In this scenario is where I'll throw on the Lava Shots mod I mentioned earlier, as that configuration would be better suited for taking down bosses in those Arbiters. Either way works great though. Do let me know which way you prefer, or if you might go a whole other way. You know I'm always curious how you guys set your characters up. As I always say, the Ascension tree is what you make of it. Here's mine. Obviously with this build you want to spec into weapon damage. Damage against elites is always good to have, and extra status power is also a good idea. The rest is up to you to fill in as you see fit, so grind away and get those points in. There you have it, that's the build. Scorched Zealot Pyromancer, great for turning your melee attack into high burst damage as you blast your way through expeditions and trials. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, comments, and opinions on how you're running your Scorched Zealot build. I love sharing ideas and comparing stats, and we're all here to improve and let our characters shine. If you enjoyed this video, do give a like and a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated, plus helps us reach others who may be looking for new ideas. And if you'd like to see more content, please consider subscribing, as that way you'll stay posted whenever a new video drops or whenever I'm going live. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, peace.